قني خبركم تخطاتلت مدب إيري ناينرز نلوم معلتي كم مدب لنا حزنا لكم قريبنا زلنا أم من أسياتنا بترجع مزر أمالتي من أسيات كنا بالكلنا كاب 10 عد مجنبرهم كس 10 شعات زلوا مالتي زيهم كل عزيهم بزت فلعلي نجر depression ويتشنكت كاو حالي فهمان كسب نفس قتل الدبت حب زحات علىهم نعو من سيو انتاي مجمري انتاي كم انتاي سبقس ايو بزبل بزحات كيلاتات حكيمات دكتورات وي سايكياتريست الزراريبنا زرخبناو استمساسل حط ملستاتي كابو قتلنا نتوم من اسيات حدا عينت ملس خبونا قول ديو بزبل دما نبزحات توكيسنا نيرنا حجي بزح جزي زمت حنسات نفس قتلت مستفدسمه ندحريت تمريس كاحتريو خلخا اب كم زخيدو نيرو زرخيبو نيرو خمس خوين نيرو تبايلو بزح نغرات مت نعو نخيفتسم مجمرتات تشنقت كنرا خلنا وي تي قلعه نفسو قليلو اب مدقس يديو وي كابتي فاميلي اقليلو نفسو كخون كلو انتاي كنقبرالنا كمي غيرنا خنزاربو لنا انتاي كنقبرالنا بزبل بسفيحو عمطينا يلنا بحلف اب ايرتران راح ديكونس ولا اب تصعدو كمان ندابع عبين ندامع عبلن زخدايو سلازي انه معلتي كم غاشالنا مصينا زلنا تينيجر قلعه ناتا حسابات كتغلصلنا كابو قصيلو دما بزتفلالي بروجرامات بزعبا ايرتران تينيجر دما حزنا لكم كنقربنا حتى يكون رئيتون دحر لكم كل غزي توكسونا بروجرامنا بزي باخو ما يمعبلني سلازي إذا برنامج مسودانا نعوز ملكديو وحناتيلكم تحسبوا رئيتوتات يكون حطوتات ندحر لكم أكافلونا حجي نا برنامجنا حتحلال فوقمي يورد حزات كلكم كاربيا.
Well, thank you for coming today. Could you please introduce yourself to our show?
Hi there, my name is Aylee Elizabeth Pierpont-Pyle. I'm 16, going on 17. I'm very excited to be here. So thank you for having me on Area Niners.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming. So what are we missing? All this depressions and you know, is it social media? And we don't get it. What is it in there? Because we're not in that age. So could you collaborate on what's going on there?
So I think with depression, everyone has it differently for different reasons, but
right.
I do think going on to social media and seeing how things used to be, or seeing people having a better time than you can make it very frustrating. But we are at this point where we're kind of stuck at home. So I think the best thing to do is just make the most of it and try not to spend as much time on social media. I know myself, I am really good at spending too much time on social media.
Right.
And I've just noticed that it never really helps my mental health.
I see. Okay.
So, and I think social media is really good at projecting an image that isn't necessarily true. And it's very easy to forget that.
Yeah. And you keep yourself out of that social media, keeping yourself busy doing, I know you're doing video editing and all that, which I'm so excited
Yes.
to see. And also, what were you saying? Sewing and making dress and that?
Yes. So there's this thing that's been, I don't want to say trending, but becoming more popular called thrift flipping. And it's when you go thrifting and then you take the clothes and you make them nicer, basically. And you kind of suit them for you. So what I'll do is I'll get like a big pair of pants and then like take in the waist so it's like baggy pants.
Right.
Or I'll take a shirt and transform it into like an even nicer shirt.
That's very creative. That's genius. I mean, how did you get that idea?
A lot of inspiration actually comes from YouTube.
Oh, wow. See, social media again?
Yes. So
but in a good way.
Yes. I would say YouTube is probably my favorite social media platform because it's much more positive than negative.
Right.
And it's really difficult to be negative on that platform.
You can say that again, really. Yeah, I mean, I'm very, I do admire you because, well, I've known you since you were like, what, 2, like,
I think so.
yeah. And time goes by fast.
I think I had the same haircut when I was 2.
I know, right? And then different color. You used to
Yeah.
be a lot blonder.
Yeah.
But still blonde.
Yeah, just a lot darker.
Yeah. And what I admire you is that you're very confident.
Thank you.
You're very confident in your own skin. You have no tattoo. You have no piercing or anything. It's just you are a plain little girl, like a girl next door, but smarter. And and I really do admire every time I think of you and every time I see you. So with this homeschooling and virtual and Zoom school and all that, I heard it's really good for some students who are introverted versus the what do you call it? The extroverted? Yeah.
Yes.
So I've talked to some students who are introverted, which is they're doing really well in their school, surprisingly, right? So how do you see it with your friends, and is it true or?
There's some parts that are really difficult. But I'm really thankful that my teachers are really doing their best to give us the best learning opportunity that we can get out of this situation.
Right.
And I'm really grateful that technology has given me the ability to talk to my friends right away instead of having, well, don't get me wrong, I love sending letters. I have a pen pal and it's really fun. But it's really nice to also be able to FaceTime people.
Right.
And just being like, hey, can I call you and talk to you? And I've noticed that's really helped me with this whole school situation.
Right.
And teachers offering extra hours also makes it easier so I can focus more.
Right.
And I feel like since everyone's going through this, even the introverted people, everyone's struggling a little bit, some more than
Right.
others. It makes us feel more connected, even though we're not actually in school together.
That's good.
Like last year, I was having a bit of a hard time. And once we started doing online school, I really liked it. And it made me realize that there were things that I was looking at, I don't want to say incorrectly, but not from the best perspective about school that have been taken away, but then there's also new things. So I just try to find the silver lining in everything. And I think my favorite thing about online school is getting to sleep in.
I know, right? So you could be in your pajamas and still in school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For parents, it's difficult.
Parents or appearance?
Parents, like me in general, Ben is in school, even though he's in kindergarten. I'm like, I feel like I'm on house arrest.
I think you're definitely not alone on that. The kids kind of feel like they're under house arrest too, which is why it's a really nice thing to go outside. And what I try to do with my parents is have time where we're all together and then time where we can just breathe and be separate. And I think there's a balance that's necessary with that kind of got taken away with Corona because we're all stuck in the house.
Yeah.
So spending time outside and making time to be together and time to be separate is really helpful.
I think you're right. It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment that we're all going through it. But I feel much better than before. Like at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, can I do this? Am I be able to go to do this? But now I feel so much better. Even Ben feels much better. So, little boy. So, yeah. And also I will take you back to depression. Again, this is going everywhere, which every community in the U.S. So because I'm from a different culture, it's so hard for my community and the youngsters, the teenagers, even as an adult, for us at workforce or at school and high school or elementary school, whatever. It's just so hard to fit in with the system, and so. You get a lot of depression also because it's so hard. We have two different, background. You have this, your your culture, and then you have a different culture here, you're trying to blend in. It's very difficult. I'm just saying, like, even at workforce for adults, and then it's for youngsters or at school. So, and the depression, a lot of people get depressed unless you are very strong and you have a lot of support. So can you relate into any of these things?
Yeah, I definitely think everyone is going through it. And depression is something that can be triggered so easily. And being in this kind of environment, isolation, that is really like, that's going to kick you into depression. So I think if people realize that they really aren't alone, because I feel like some people really need to hear that they are not alone in this situation, that would make them happier. And also, I feel like if you, for me at least, what helps when I'm feeling depressed is trying to make the most of my situation. So I think to myself, what is something that I want to do that I haven't been able to do before when I wasn't stuck at home? So over quarantine, I taught myself how to skateboard. I taught myself how to sew like more complicated. I taught myself how to bake a bunch of things. And I did more drawings and stuff. I redecorated my room. And I was also able to find myself more and really look into my personality. And it just made me kind of realize that, when it comes to like fitting in, the best thing to do is to be yourself, and the true people will accept you. And those are the people you want to be friends with, the people who actually appreciate you for who you are.
That's good. Thank you. So what do you recommend for teenagers with this situation right now where, at school, I mean, at home, schooling and everything, that they can't even explore to outside. So I'm sure there's a lot of going on. So I feel like you are doing good because you're keeping yourself busy doing a lot of things that you like to do. Or like you said earlier with the YouTube, and you just learning a lot of stuff. So I guess you have to turn it into different, in a positive way. And then, like you said, hanging out with people who accept you. Like, this is for adults and for youngsters, which is good. And thank you. And thank you for coming and doing this. Actually, it's every community is going through this right now, especially with teenagers. That's why we appreciate you coming here and doing this. And any other thoughts that you would like to give to? So
some other things that I would recommend when feeling depressed is also accepting your feelings. What I like to do is I like to write down, make a list, which I call grievances and gratitudes. Right. So first I write down what I'm upset about, just so I can kind of get it all out. And then I write down what I'm thankful for. And that kind of just shoves the negativity out the door. Exactly. So I'm able to feel better and less depressed. Right. And you don't necessarily have to make a list. You can also talk to friends or pets or your parents if you have a good relationship with your parents. So those are really helpful. And another fun thing to do if you're ever feeling like suicidal, because sometimes that comes with depression, is writing down reasons to stay alive. And I have found that that is so helpful because when you're in isolation, it's so easy to think that it's just you and your parents, but there are so many people out there, not just your parents, I mean, especially your parents, but not just them, that want you on this earth and that need you in their lives. So that's also really helpful.
Thank you. I wasn't gonna go there, but since you brought it, and I really appreciate it because it's a very sensitive subject, and people are going through that right now. Not only teenagers, but even adults, and just hang in there. Just think positive, stay positive, and there are people who loves you and they need you, and do a lot of prayers. Prayers helps a lot. And just hang in there and stay strong for your loved ones. And thank you for coming, Ailey.
Yes, thank you.
I hope we do this again. I hope we can do this again, right? And you will help me with all the things, right?
Yes.
But okay. Well, thank you, Area Niners. يعني لنا بقى زي نهلت لكم بقرار دياتنا الله حفتنا نقولنا and محزنا Ailey, and thank you for coming to Area Niners.
Thank you for having me.
And like, subscribe, and share.
Like, subscribe, leave a constructive comment down below, and hit the bell for notifications so you can get informed right away when we post another video.